What's up, everybody? How's it going? New day, new set of cards. I'm not going to waste too much of your time on this introduction. If you guys are interested, I have a community Discord where a few people come to chit chat about the cards as they're being revealed. So if you want a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come in the video, link to that in the description below. Additionally, I do stream on Twitch 2 to 3 days a week. I'm still trying to perfect that schedule with getting over the sickness, but once that is done, I'll let you guys know. It's usually Monday and Wednesdays, some days on the weekend with a couple bonus streams with a few friends. So if you are interested in coming to say hey while I'm live to check out those chats, once again, link in the description below. Let's just get started with some of the new cards. So first up, we got Horrendous Growth, 2 mana, 2/2 corrupt, gain +1/+1, and can be corrupted endlessly. I think this card is not very good, to be brutally honest. I think the setup for it is a lot higher than a lot of other cards that do a similar thing. I would put the closest card at the Argent Braggart, the Paladin card that just matches the stats on board with something. That requires a lot less setup for a 2 mana high body card. This just requires a lot more setup to do some stuff. While yes, you could cash it in at another point, I feel like this corrupt mechanic on this card is just a little too slow. The payoff for trying to corrupt it multiple times feels very weak, and I'd rather just be doing some proactive stuff early on. Like I said, I have an issue with these tempo-based corrupt cards. I feel like they're not going to be great, but I'd be happy to be proven wrong. I'm giving Horrendous Growth 2 stars. It's got some potential. I don't really see it going anywhere. Next up, we got Stiltstepper, 3 mana 4/1 Demon Hunter minion. Battlecry, draw a card. If you play it this turn, give your hero 4 attack this turn. A lot of people are saying this card is really good. I'm kind of middle of the road for it. I'm giving it 3 stars as a card. My reason being the value and payoff that you get from using Stiltstepper would be drawing and playing a card, implying we're either running a very low cost curve, so we could try and do that early, or we're playing Stiltstepper in the late game where it's a 3 mana 4/1 draw, give yourself 4 attack. So I could kind of compare this to the Soul Shard Lapidary card, where you're playing a minion, it gives you a body, and you gain a bunch of attack. In this case, we're drawing a card, but we're on the condition that we need to play the card right away just to give ourselves 4 attack. While that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think for a card like this, you need a little bit more than just the combo potential of a low-cost card. You want to do a lot more with that one powerful drawn card in addition to gaining this 4 attack. And by waiting that long, I think we're kind of counteracting what Demon Hunter really wants to do, which is just apply pressure early and keep that pressure for the game. So that's why I think it's an alright card. I'm hoping to see some potential, not too sure how it's going to go. Next up, we got Rogue's Ticketmaster, 3 mana 4/3, Death Rattle, shuffle 3 tickets into your deck, and when drawn, they each summon a 3/3 plush bear. I think of all the shuffle cards that have ever been printed and that Rogue has gotten, I believe this to be one of the stronger ones, just because Ticketmaster's stats are also pretty solid on 3. The 3 mana 4/3 is pretty aggressively statted and can trade very well. In addition, the tickets are actually just good board presence that you could get for Rogue. Since most often Rogue doesn't actually fill up the board, you have a very good chance of shuffling these plush bears. I'm giving the card 5 stars. I really like the card and I like the flavor. The plush bears kind of freak me out, but it's fine. I think that the card has a lot of potential. The stats on there are good. And this one actually doesn't let you fall behind like some of the Demon Portal shuffling that we've seen, or the 4/4 Nerubians, I think they were. Those cards, they generally have had a little bit lower stats in order to shuffle these, so I'm happy to see that they're printing a card with good stat line in addition to the shuffle mechanic as its upside. I think this card's going to get a lot of potential. Next up, we have the Nameless One, a Priest Legendary, 4 mana 4/4, Battlecry, choose a minion, become a 4/4 copy of it, then silence it. I'm giving this card 5 stars right away. This is going to be an auto-include in a lot of priest lists and a lot of control lists. This is just a very strong control tool, basically a spell breaker for priest. In addition to that, we're having something become a copy and then you silence their version. So the Nameless One can become a version of Rattlegore and then silence your opponent's Rattlegore. And now you've completely negated that tempo and flipped it around. And I could see that situation being very possible moving into the next expansion. Priest gets a lot of good control tools, and this thing being a good silence, board development, and control tool is basically all that you want. You develop a thing with a slight removal on something else. The Nameless One is gonna see play. Watch out for this guy whenever you queue against the priest. Next up, we have Wicked Whispers, a 1 mana warlock spell. Discard your lowest cost card, give your minions +1/+1. Giving this card 4 stars right away. I think it's got a lot of good potential. I can see this definitely fitting very easily into a zoo type deck. You're discarding a low cost card, which generally has low impact once you've developed your board, and now you're giving your minions 1/1. Generally, you can get anywhere from 5/5 to 7/7 in stats when you play this right in a zoo deck. So this being a 1-mana card gives you a lot of aggressive pressure. The extra health is really good for surviving some of those early clears that, you know, a Demon Hunter could do with a Blade Dance, Priest could get away with a Holy Nova. This card is going to apply pressure, keep that pressure, and help Zoo to close out those games. So I think Wicked Whisper's got a lot of potential. I don't know exactly which Warlock archetype's going to do good, but at the beginning, Zoo always finds a way, and in this case, it's going to be a pretty strong contender. Next up, we got Carousel Griffin, 5-mana 5/5 mech for Paladin, Divine Shield, Corrupt, gain 3/3 and Taunt, so the corrupted version becomes a 5-mana 8/8 Divine Shield Taunt. Very powerful. It's a minion basically like Libram of Hope, except instead of gaining 8 health and we get the Libram synergy, we are now just playing a mech. This is very good for N'Zoth Paladin. We're going to see the mech come in here, and this is a very powerful mech that you want to hit. Additionally, Yasharaj giving a 0-mana 8/8 Divine Shield Taunt. Very powerful corrupt card as well. I'm giving Carousel Griffin 3 stars. I feel like it's solid. I once again feel like this type of a card, you probably just want to do a little bit more proactively than waiting until earliest about turn 7 to get an 8/8 Divine Shield Taunt. While Libram of Hope is good, we're getting that Libram synergy with Lady Leodrin in addition to healing up for 8. So this just kind of feels like a worse version of that package. To be fair, the mech tag for N'Zoth Paladin combined with that Elemental Hammer means that we're going to see Paladin probably trying to take advantage of N'Zoth the most, and that's why I'm giving this card a lot of potential. This is a very powerful mech for Paladin. Beyond that, I don't really see too much potential for it. Interesting new legendary for Warrior, Elite Tauren Chieftain, God of Metal, or ETC. Maybe it's a different guy, but I'm assuming it's him because rock and roll, right? A 2-mana 1/4, after a friendly rush minion attacks, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Personally, a little underwhelmed with this card. I'm giving him 2 stars. My personal reason being rush minions, when you attack, you really use them to try and control the board, and an extra 2 mana for a 1/4 that's basically going to be adding a hunter hero power to face. I feel like in Warrior that isn't supporting as aggressive of an archetype right now, we'll probably find this card a little bit lackluster. I think that if Warrior is going to be doing some aggressive stuff, the tempo variant with the Wrench Caliber and Galakron is probably going to be much stronger because that's just constant weapon pressure, and I think that in this meta was a lot more impactful and strong than trying to promote a bunch of rush minions just so you have a 1-card payoff of chipping some damage at face. In the end, you could combo this rush card, and this could be a way to close the game if you have 3 or 4 very cheap rush minions that you can run in. I feel like if we're trying to play a card that's going to pressure the opponent's health, we would want to do something a little bit more proactive than a 2-mana 1/4 that we need to wait and just combo to deal about 6 damage to the enemy hero. I'm not really too fond of it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Ringmaster Watley, 5-mana 3/5 warrior legendary, battlecry, draw mech, dragon, and pirate. 5-star card right away. The Curator was very powerful in his time from Karazhan, and I think that this captures the exact same spirit. We have a body with decent stats. It's a little lower than average, but that's fine. 2 mana less for a draw 3 tutor. You're generally just going to run your high impact mechs, dragons, and pirates. In Warrior, you have your Tomb Warden, your Deathwing, and your Kobold Sticky Fingers, and right there we have 5 different minions that Ringmaster Watley can tutor, and those are all very powerful minions that you do want to grab. The Curator was good for tutoring out the very high impact versions of those minion tribals, and Ringmaster Watley does that exactly. I think he'll be seeing a lot of play. I think this is a very easy build around, and once again, we're kind of setting up this N'Zoth type synergy where we're going to have multiple minions come in. N'Zoth is going to be your payoff. And I'm excited to see Ringmaster Watley. I think he's going to see a lot of play. What good is a Ringmaster without his baton? A warrior weapon, 2 mana 1/3. After your hero attacks, give a mech, dragon, and pirate in your hand 1/1. I think I'm going to give this weapon 2 stars. My personal reason right away, this weapon is very specific and the buffing synergy that's coming with it feels very underwhelming. Once again, we're looking at the warrior weapon slot, which is extremely contested, and I think that trying to force this synergy with a mech, dragon, and pirate by putting more of them in not only negates the power that Ringmaster Watley has, but additionally, we're just trying to do a lot more buffing with a weapon that I think we don't need to do a lot of buffing anymore. I think the Wrench Caliber and Ankar packages that Warrior has are much stronger than the Ringmaster's baton, because I think you're going to be using the Mech Dragon Pirate package as a tutor to the impactful ones, not just try and shove in as many as we can so that the baton can constantly hit some pressure. I could be wrong in that assessment, but I kind of think the baton's a little underwhelming. Next up, Balloon Merchant. 4 mana 3/5 Battlecry, give your Silverhand recruits +1 attack and Divine Shield. 5-star card. I'm very excited to see Silverhand recruits getting some synergy. They've always been very powerful when given something, and I think Balloon Merchant captures the idea of buffing Silverhand recruits perfectly. We have a 4 mana 3/5, which is a pretty decent stats. It's not phenomenal, but definitely good. Give your dudes +1 attack and a bubble. Those are all very powerful effects that we can use to buff the dudes, and we can use this as early pressure to kick in. This definitely helps Day at the Fair. It's going to be a lot stronger because we now have a dude synergy card. I think I'm also going to bump up Day at the Fair another star just because of this card in my late review, and if you guys are tuned in for the end of that, I will give a mass overview of all the cards and my opinion of it once the expansion's fully revealed. Balloon Merchant's a phenomenal card. The dude synergy is there. I'm very excited to see him see a lot of play. There's going to be a lot of dudes flying around, and worst case, when you're just pressing your button, Balloon Merchant's there to help out. It's going to be a very good card. And speaking of paladins getting very good cards, hi Exarch Urel, 8 mana 7/5 paladin legendary. Battle cry: if your deck has no neutral cards, gain Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt, and Divine Shield. So we get the payoff card for Pure Paladin once again in the form of High Exarch Urel. I am giving this card 5 stars. If Pure Paladin has the archetype, this is 100% going to see play in the meta if that deck becomes powerful. If the deck becomes tier 2, who cares? You run this card anyways because it's such a good payoff for an 8 mana 7/5 as a Pure Paladin deck. This card's got a lot of potential. I really don't know how to say much more besides it's just going to be that high value card you want to keep running. Reminds me a little bit of Siamat, how you just run the big body because the big body is going to do whatever work you need it to do and get the job done. And this does everything. It's board control, it's reactive presence, it's healing, it's everything Paladin needs chucked into one beautiful card with no neutrals. Yeah, we are going to be losing a little bit of stuff going in with the fact that we need to stay pure in Paladin, but I think with some of the cards that they're getting right now, we can easily forego some of those neutral cards. Some of the legendaries are going to be a little bit tougher to try and justify not including, but I think this card's got a lot of potential, and I'm really hyped to see High Exarch Urel because that is a powerful, powerful card. Next up, Mage Secret Rigged Fair Game. Secret: if you didn't take any damage during your opponent's turn, draw 3 cards. I'm personally going to give this secret 2 stars. My only reason being, I really like the card, and I think in some matchups, if you're playing a slow control type list and a combo potential with Mage, using your Frost Novas or your Blizzards are a surefire way to make sure that you can rig the fair game to draw 3 cards. But otherwise, the Paladin quest in the form of Sanctuary was actually very difficult to get off and play consistently just because of the early pressure that came in. You almost were never able to get the payoff of not taking damage for a turn. I would say a 3/6 with Taunt is less impactful than a full 3 cards, and I think of all the classes, Mage has some of the best tools to make sure you don't take damage on your turn. But if we get into an aggressive state where Demon Hunter or Hunter is a meta deck, you just have to press your button and all of a sudden you'll never be able to get your rigged fair game off, which I think is a very big drawback. More so, there's a lot more impactful secrets that Mage wants to have. A 3 mana draw 3, while it is powerful, I think this is almost never going to go off, but they're definitely starting to push this secret mage, this tempo mage, so this being in the pool isn't bad. It's something else that you can't really test unless you have to deal damage to their face, and you might not even really see that happen too much. Unique take for Mage, they have a new thing that you need to play around or know how to play around, and I think that gives it a little bit of a bonus, but I think these types of cards are a little too hard to get the payoff, so I'm gonna withhold myself from rigged fair game. And last but not least, Occult Conjurer, 4 mana 4/4 mage minion. Battle cry: if you control the secret, summon a copy of this. So we're officially starting to see a lot more secret mage payoff. This card being a 4 mana 8/8, definitely very powerful. An immediate curve to follow up from the Kirin Tor mage on turn 3. So you can, play the 4/3, play your free secret. You hope that it could stick, so then Occult Conjurer can be a 4 mana 4/4 double to another 4/4, and that's actually a lot of tempo. That's a lot of value. I'm giving Occult Conjurer 3 stars. I think that tempo mage is going to be a lot stronger with a lot more flexibility. I think that the mage secrets and the secret mage archetype in general needs a little bit more snowbally potential. A card like Cabal Crystal Runner was a lot more impactful because that mana cost got reduced to the point where we were constantly dropping at 0 mana or a 2 mana 5/5, whereas this, we kind of need the secret up. which isn't impossible. We could guarantee that to happen on turn 7. I think that there's some Mage Secrets for sure you might be able to get away with leaving up for an entire turn. Something like Spellbender usually doesn't get procced very often, so if we are going to try and combo that with a Cure and Tor Mage, most likely Occult Conjurer is going to double up the next turn. I still think the Tempo Mage archetype of spell slinging with your Mana Cyclones is going to be a little bit stronger, but I'm happy to see a little bit more support for Secret Mage, and I hope that that can kind of take a positive direction for the expansion. That's my quick take for a lot of the cards. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and drop a comment below and what you think of my opinions, if I missed some combo potential that you think might influence my card rating otherwise. Additionally, I have a community Discord. If you guys want to come in and say, hey, check out my opinions on some of the cards, you can come in, check that out, link in the description below. Additionally, I do stream on Twitch. I have been trying to play a lot more Hearthstone, and I have 130 packs ready to play for the new expansion. If you guys want to come say hey and check out some of the new deck building potential, that will also be in the link in the description below. But until then, guys, take care. We'll wait for some more cards to check out more madness at the Darkmoon Faire. Take care, everyone.